Disclaimer: the following narrative is based on open source reports and public claims.
Greenland is not just a frozen island at the edge of the world. It has become a strategic node in a global power game that is now shifting toward the Arctic. As the United States strengthens its military presence in Greenland, Washington calls it defense. But for many observers, it looks like part of a familiar pattern, tightening NATO's military ring around Russia. Geographically, Greenland sits at a critical crossroads between North America, Europe, and the Arctic. From here, the shortest flight paths for intercontinental ballistic missiles pass over the polar region. The United States has long exploited this position through Patuxent Space Base. This facility is not just a passive defensive site. It is part of an early warning and strategic surveillance network directly integrated into US and NATO military systems. In modern geopolitics, whoever controls the Arctic controls the future pathways of war. Official statements from Washington sound familiar. The military presence in Greenland is described as necessary to preserve stability, deter threats, and protect allies. But if this is purely about defense, one question becomes unavoidable. Why are NATO military infrastructures now positioned around nearly every strategic border of Russia? From Eastern Europe to the Baltics, from the Black Sea to the Arctic, the pattern of Western military expansion is difficult to ignore. Greenland is a key piece of that puzzle. For Moscow, the Arctic is nothing new. Russia holds the longest Arctic coastline in the world, along with military bases, ports, and critical economic routes. When the US and NATO increase activity in Greenland, Russia does not see a defensive move. It sees an attempt to shift the strategic balance in a region that was once relatively stable. This perception is what drives Russia to reinforce its Arctic defenses, not as an initial provocation, but as a response to pressure moving ever closer. NATO often presents itself as a defensive alliance. Yet in practice, nearly every NATO military expansion has been followed by strong reactions from those who feel threatened by it. This is what analysts call the security dilemma. One side believes it is protecting itself, while the other believes it is being surrounded. Greenland is now caught inside that dilemma, a defensive shield in NATO's narrative and a symbol of encirclement in Russia's eyes. What is rarely discussed is the impact on Greenland itself. The island is not a primary decision maker, but a chessboard for great power rivalry. While the United States and NATO speak the language of global security, the risk of escalation grows in a region that was once relatively calm. The real question is no longer who is right, but how far major powers are willing to push before stability breaks down. America calls Greenland a defensive shield. Russia sees it as part of a strategic containment strategy. The truth may lie somewhere in between, but history shows that when militarization accelerates, conflict is rarely far behind. The Arctic may be frozen, but geopolitically, it has never been hotter. If you want geopolitical analysis without one-sided narratives, subscribe, turn on notifications, because on this channel, every move by global powers is examined from multiple angles.